In this video, we will look at how we can multiply fractions using a number line. This standard extends students' work of multiplication from earlier grades. In fourth grade, students multiplied a unit fraction by a whole number. In fifth grade, students will multiply two fractions, including mixed numbers, with only the denominators of 2, 3, and 4. Students are expected to create visual fraction models during their work with this standard. Here we will look at multiplying 2/3 times 3/4. Before we begin to solve, we should think about what we've discussed and learned in class with the magnitude of products when working with fractions to help us think about a reasonable answer. Here we can recognize that both of these factors are being multiplied by a factor that is less than one whole, which means our answer is going to be less than both of these factors. So we would expect our answer to be less than 2/3 and less than 3/4. To solve this on a number line, the first thing that I'm going to do is draw a number line. And I'm going to think about this as 2/3 of 3/4. So I'm going to start by showing 3/4. So we can label 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. And I'm going to go ahead and represent on this number line that we have 3/4 just by shading a bar kind of right above there that just goes right to 3/4 to show that this is how much we're working with. Now what I can think about is just this section of the number line. So I'm not concerned about the entire whole, but only the 3/4. And when I do that, I know I need to find 2/3 of 3/4. Well, when I look here at this section that's in green now, I can think about, well, if I was to split this into 3 equal parts, it would actually be right along these same lines. So I would have 3 equal parts here. There's a third here, a third here, and a third here. And so I could even show another bar above this because I know that I need 2/3 of 3/4. So 2/3 would be this section here and this section. Not this last part because that would then be 3/3 or 1 whole. I'd be using that entire whole 3/4 that we're looking at. We're just looking for 2/3 of 3/4. By doing this, I can see that if I have 2/3 of 3/4 of that section that was shown in green there on our number line, I can see that 2/3 of 3/4 is 2/4. We land right there. So I'm going to write that over to the side here. 2/3 times 3/4 is equal to 2/4. We know that that is equal to 1/2. We had talked about in the beginning, using our knowledge of the magnitude of products, that we would expect our answer to be less than both factors. And I know that 1/2 is less than 2/3, and it is also less than 3/4. So this definitely is a reasonable answer. There is another way that this could be shown on a number line that students may use. We would still begin by modeling the 3/4 on the number line. And now what we would do is, since we need to find 2/3 of 3/4, we could actually just break each of these sections, each of these fourths, into 3 equal parts so that we could find 2/3 of each of these 3/4. So here's how that would look. I would split each section into 3 equal parts. Again, that's because I'm wanting to find 2/3 of 3/4. What I would need to look at now is, well, how many equal parts is this whole broken into? So it's broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's broken into 12 equal parts. So I know now that each of these sections represents 1/12. So each of these is a 12th. So I could go ahead and label that. Now I just need to go back and think about what we're doing here. We are finding 2/3 of 3/4. So that means I need to find 2/3 of this fourth. I might just use different colors to make this clear here. I need 2/3 of this fourth. And I need 2/3 of this fourth, because I need 2/3 of 3/4. Alternatively, students might circle each of the fourths. Anything that they want to do to indicate that they're working with those 3/4 is fine. But now I know I need 2/3 of each fourth. So when I look here, remember we noticed that when we split these sections like this, we had split them into 3 equal parts, each fourth. So if I need 2/3 of this fourth that I've indicated here with yellow, I would just circle 2 of these sections. And I know that each of those is 1/12. This lets me see that 2/3 of 1/4 is 2/12. Now I'll go and look at my next fourth here. That's the one that I highlighted in green. I need 2/3 of this fourth as well. So that means I would circle 2 out of the 3 parts that this was split into. I know that each of these sections on our number line has a value of 1/12. So that means each of those is 1/12. And now I can deal with the last of our fourths, the one that's here in orange. I need 2/3 of this one as well. So I need 2 out of these 3 sections. And I know that each of those is 1/12. And so now I just need to look back and see, well, how many twelfths do I have altogether? Because I found 2/3 of each of the 3/4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twelfths. So this would show me that 2/3 times 3/4 is equal to 6 twelfths. And I know that 6 twelfths is equal to 1/2. And I know that that is the same thing that we got on our first number line. And so that's correct. And we already talked about how that answer is reasonable based on what we estimated using our knowledge of the magnitude of products. And so there we have 2 different ways that you could use a number line to multiply 2 fractions.